If you feel stuck, tired and behind in life, this is for you. The real problem is not always lack of talent. It is often distraction, self-doubt and too many wasted days. Stay here because this will show you how to pull your focus back. Build daily discipline and use one simple mind reset that helps you move forward even when motivation is gone. One shift in how you think can change how you act, and one better choice today can begin a completely different life. Chapter 1. Decide today to focus only on your personal growth. The day you decide to focus on your personal growth is the day your life begins to change in a real and lasting way. Many people spend years waiting for the perfect opportunity, the right support, or the right timing before they choose to improve themselves. They believe that life must become easier before they can become stronger. They believe that confidence must come before action. They believe that success belongs to people who are naturally gifted or lucky. These beliefs keep people standing in the same place while time continues to move forward. Your future is not built by waiting. It is built by deciding. Every meaningful change starts with a decision. Before any habit changes, before any goal is reached, before any success becomes visible, someone first makes a quiet decision that they will no longer live the same way. That decision may not impress anyone else. It may happen in complete silence. No one may notice it except you. Yet that moment has the power to reshape your entire future. Focusing on yourself does not mean becoming selfish. It does not mean ignoring people or refusing to help others. It means taking responsibility for your own life before expecting life to change for you. It means understanding that your thoughts, your habits, your attitude, and your actions deserve your full attention because they determine the direction of your future. Many people know exactly what everyone else should do. They criticize family members, complain about co-workers, judge friends, and compare themselves with strangers. They spend hours talking about problems they cannot control, while ignoring the one person they can improve every single day. That person is themselves. The truth is simple. You cannot control another person's choices. You cannot force people to respect you. You cannot make everyone understand your value. You cannot make life perfectly fair. But you can control how you respond. You can control your effort. You can control your discipline. You can control your character. That is where real strength begins. Every morning you wake up with a choice. You can continue repeating the same habits that have produced the same results, or you can choose one small action that moves you forward. Growth rarely comes from dramatic changes. It comes from small actions repeated with consistency. Reading 10 pages instead of scrolling through your phone. Going for a walk instead of making another excuse. Learning one new skill instead of wasting another evening. Saving a little money instead of spending without thinking. Speaking with patience instead of reacting with anger. None of these actions seem life-changing in one day. Yet when repeated for months and years, they completely transform a person's life. The biggest competition in your life is not another person. It is the person you were yesterday. If you become a little wiser today, you have already won something valuable. If you become more disciplined than yesterday, you have made progress. If you become more patient during difficult moments, you are growing. Success is not only measured by money or recognition. Success is also measured by the person you become while pursuing your goals. Many people delay their own growth because they compare themselves with others. They see someone earning more money, achieving greater success, or receiving more attention. Instead of working on themselves, they become discouraged. Comparison steals energy that could have been invested in improvement. Every person walks a different path. Different backgrounds create different starting points. Different experiences shape different strengths. Looking at someone else's results tells you very little about the effort, sacrifices, failures, and lessons behind those results. Instead of asking why someone else is ahead, ask yourself what you can improve today. Imagine planting a tree. You would never expect it to become tall after 1 week. You understand that it needs water, sunlight, patience, and time. Personal growth follows the same principle. Your discipline today becomes your confidence tomorrow. Your learning today becomes your opportunity tomorrow. Your sacrifices today become your freedom tomorrow. The hardest part is often the beginning because the results are invisible. You may exercise for weeks without noticing major physical changes. You may study every evening without receiving immediate rewards. You may wake up early while everyone else continues sleeping. During these moments, doubt appears. You begin asking yourself whether your effort matters. It matters more than you realize. The person you are becoming is changing long before your results become visible. Discipline develops quietly. Character develops quietly. Wisdom develops quietly. Confidence develops quietly. The world usually notices success after it appears, but success has already been growing beneath the surface for a long time. One of the greatest mistakes people make is waiting until they feel motivated. Motivation is helpful, but it is unreliable. Some mornings you will feel excited, other mornings you will feel tired, discouraged, or distracted. If your actions depend only on your emotions, your progress will always stop and start. Discipline creates stability. Discipline says that your goals are more important than your temporary feelings. It reminds you that you do not need perfect emotions to take meaningful action. You simply need the willingness to begin. There will always be distractions. Modern life offers endless opportunities to waste attention. Notifications appear every few minutes. Entertainment is available every second. Opinions surround you everywhere. Hours disappear without creating anything valuable. Your attention is one of your greatest assets. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Protect it carefully. Ask yourself whether the activity in front of you brings you closer to your future or pulls you farther away. This simple question can guide many daily decisions. Personal growth also requires honesty. Honest people improve faster because they accept responsibility instead of creating excuses. It is easier to blame circumstances than to examine your own habits. It is easier to blame other people than to improve your communication. It is easier to blame luck than to increase your effort. Responsibility is not about guilt. It is about power. The moment you accept responsibility for your life, you also accept the ability to change it. Think about an area where you feel stuck. Perhaps your health is not where you want it to be. Perhaps your finances create stress. Perhaps your confidence feels weak. Instead of asking who caused the problem, ask what action you can take today. Even one small improvement creates momentum. Momentum is powerful. Small victories increase belief. Belief encourages more action. More action creates better results. Better results strengthen confidence. This cycle continues as long as you keep moving forward. Growth also requires patience with yourself. You will make mistakes. You will forget habits. You will have days when your energy feels low. These moments do not erase your progress unless you allow them to become permanent. A single difficult day does not define your future. What matters is returning to your commitment. Strong people are not those who never struggle. Strong people are those who continue despite struggle. They understand that setbacks are temporary. They refuse to let one bad decision become a permanent lifestyle. The people you admire have faced disappointment. They have experienced rejection, uncertainty, failure, and criticism. Their success did not come because life protected them from difficulty. It came because they refused to stop growing during difficult seasons. Your environment also shapes your future. Spend time with people who encourage responsibility, discipline, honesty, and improvement. Limit the influence of people who constantly complain without changing. Negativity spreads quickly, so does determination. Choose carefully which voices become part of your daily life. Reading good books, listening to meaningful conversations, learning new skills, and spending quiet time reflecting all strengthen your mind. Just as healthy food strengthens the body, healthy ideas strengthen your thinking. Every day you feed your mind with something. Make sure it supports the future you want to build. One powerful habit is ending each day with honest reflection. Ask yourself simple questions. Did I improve today? Did I waste time that could have been used better? Did I keep my promises to myself? What lesson did today teach me? What can I do better tomorrow? These questions build awareness. Awareness leads to improvement. Do not wait until January. Do not wait until next Monday. Do not wait until everything feels perfect. Growth begins today, because today is the only time you can actually make a decision. Yesterday cannot be changed. Tomorrow has not arrived. Today is where your future is built. There may be people who doubt your ability. Some may remind you of your past mistakes. Others may not understand why you have changed your priorities. Their opinions do not determine your future. Your daily actions do. Protect your time because it cannot be replaced. Protect your energy because it is limited. Protect your values because they guide every important decision. Protect your discipline because it carries you through moments when motivation disappears. Every meaningful achievement begins with ordinary days. There are no shortcuts around consistent effort. The people who appear successful usually spent years doing work that few people noticed. They continued learning when others stopped. They continued practicing when others became distracted. They continued believing when results were still invisible. You are capable of building that same consistency. You do not need to become a different person overnight. You only need to become slightly better than you were yesterday. Improvement compounds over time. One better decision becomes another. One stronger habit leads to another. One courageous action creates another opportunity. Imagine looking back 1 year from now. Imagine becoming healthier because you chose daily movement. Imagine becoming calmer because you practiced patience. Imagine becoming financially stronger because you learned to manage money wisely. Imagine becoming more confident because you kept promises to yourself. These changes begin with today's decision, not tomorrow's wish. Your personal growth is your lifelong responsibility. No one else can think your thoughts for you. No one else can build your discipline. No one else can create your character. Others may support you, encourage you, and teach you, but only you can choose your actions. Today is an opportunity to begin again, regardless of your past. Past failures do not cancel future possibilities. Regret does not build a better future, but action does. Every sunrise offers another chance to choose discipline instead of comfort, learning instead of excuses, and growth instead of fear. Keep your attention on becoming someone you can respect. Build habits that make your future stronger. Speak honestly, work consistently, learn continuously. Stay patient during slow progress. Remain humble during success. Continue improving even after reaching your goals, because growth has no finish line. The greatest reward for focusing on your personal growth is not only the success you achieve, it is the person you become while earning it. A disciplined mind, a calm heart, honest character, steady confidence, and meaningful purpose are rewards that no one can take away. Decide today that your energy belongs to your own improvement. Decide that your future deserves your best effort. Decide that every day will include at least one action that moves your life forward. Those decisions may seem small in the moment, but they create a future that once seemed impossible. Every great life is built one decision at a time, and the first decision is always the same. Focus on yourself until your actions speak louder than your words, your habits become stronger than your excuses, and your growth becomes impossible to ignore. Chapter 2. Build daily habits that create lasting success through consistency. Success is rarely created by one extraordinary moment. It is usually built through ordinary days that are used wisely. Every achievement that appears impressive from the outside is supported by hundreds of simple actions repeated over and over again. The person who becomes respected in a career did not earn that respect in 1 week. The person who becomes physically healthy did not reach that point after one workout. The person who develops confidence did not suddenly wake up with a strong mindset. Progress grows through habits that are practiced long enough to become part of everyday life. Many people search for a secret that will completely change their future. They buy new planners, watch countless motivational videos, and wait for the perfect system. They believe that one powerful idea will solve every problem. In reality, the greatest advantage comes from doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. Consistency often feels less exciting than dramatic change because it asks for patience instead of instant results. It asks you to trust the process before you see proof that it is working. That is why so many people begin with enthusiasm but stop when life becomes busy or difficult. They mistake slow progress for failure. They forget that meaningful growth often happens quietly before it becomes visible. A habit is simply a decision repeated so many times that it becomes natural. Your current life is already shaped by habits, whether you recognize them or not. The way you spend your mornings, how you respond to stress, what you eat, how you manage your money, how often you learn something new, and how you speak to yourself all create the foundation of your future. Every repeated action leaves a mark on your character. This should encourage you because it means your future is not controlled by one perfect day. It is influenced by many ordinary days. You do not need to change everything at once. You need to choose one habit that moves your life in a better direction and protect it until it becomes automatic. Start by looking honestly at your daily routine. From the moment you wake up until you go to sleep, notice how your time is spent. Do not judge yourself. Simply observe. You may discover that small pockets of time disappear without purpose. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, another half hour scrolling through information that adds nothing meaningful to your life. Those moments may seem harmless, but together they become hours, days, and even months that could have been invested in building a stronger future. A powerful daily routine begins with intention. Instead of waking up and reacting to whatever appears first, decide how you want to begin your day. Even 15 quiet minutes can create a different direction for the hours ahead. Drink water before reaching for your phone. Sit in silence for a few moments. Read a few pages from a valuable book. Write down your priorities. Stretch your body. Take a short walk. These simple actions prepare your mind instead of allowing distractions to control your attention from the very beginning. One helpful question to ask every morning is simple. What is the most important action I can complete today? Not 10 actions, not 20. Just one action that creates real progress. Finishing that task builds momentum. Momentum creates confidence because it reminds you that your day is moving in the right direction. Many people create long lists filled with unrealistic expectations. By the afternoon, they feel overwhelmed and discouraged because they could not complete everything. A shorter list completed with care is often more valuable than a longer list left unfinished. Consistency grows when your goals match reality. Build habits that fit into your life instead of creating routines that collapse after a few days. Your environment also influences your ability to remain consistent. If healthy food is available, making better choices becomes easier. If books are within reach, reading becomes more likely. If your workspace is organized, beginning your work requires less effort. If your phone constantly interrupts your attention, concentration becomes difficult. Instead of depending only on willpower, shape your surroundings to support the habits you want to build. Another important lesson is learning to respect small improvements. Many people ignore small victories because they expect dramatic results. They fail to appreciate the value of reading a few pages every evening, saving a small amount of money each week, or practicing a new skill for 30 minutes every day. Yet these simple actions create remarkable changes when repeated for months and years. Imagine someone who decides to read only 10 pages every day. That may not seem significant, yet after 1 year, hundreds of pages have been completed, new ideas have been learned, and thinking has expanded. Imagine another person who practices communication for 20 minutes every evening. Over time, conversations become clearer, confidence increases, and opportunities begin to grow. The daily action seemed small, but the long-term effect became powerful. Patience is one of the greatest companions of consistency. Modern culture often celebrates speed, but lasting success follows a different rhythm. Learning takes time, healing takes time, building trust takes time, mastering a skill takes time. Accepting this truth removes unnecessary frustration. Instead of asking why progress feels slow, remind yourself that every meaningful achievement develops step by step. There will be days when your routine feels effortless. There will also be days when nothing seems enjoyable. Those difficult days are especially important because they reveal the strength of your commitment. Anyone can continue when motivation feels high. Character becomes visible when you continue even without excitement. Your future is influenced more by what you do during ordinary days than by what you accomplish during exceptional moments. Avoid making your habits dependent on perfect conditions. If you cannot exercise for an hour, exercise for 15 minutes. If you cannot read an entire chapter, read 2 pages. If your schedule becomes crowded, protect at least the smallest version of your routine. Keeping the habit alive is more valuable than allowing it to disappear completely. Once a habit is broken for a long period, starting again often becomes more difficult. Pay attention to the promises you make to yourself. Every time you follow through, trust in yourself grows stronger. Every time you repeatedly ignore your own commitments, self-confidence quietly weakens. Confidence is not created only through achievements. It also grows from proving to yourself that your words have value. If you decide to wake up at a certain time, honor that decision. If you promise to complete an important task, complete it. Integrity begins with keeping your own promises before expecting others to trust you. Do not underestimate the influence of your evening routine. The final hour before sleep often shapes the beginning of the next day. Instead of filling your mind with endless noise, choose activities that create peace and clarity. Prepare for tomorrow by organizing what you need. Reflect on what went well. Identify one lesson from the day. Go to sleep knowing that another opportunity for growth will arrive in the morning. Consistency also requires flexibility. Life will occasionally interrupt your plans. Unexpected challenges appear. Family responsibilities change. Health issues arise. Difficult seasons arrive without warning. During these moments, avoid believing that temporary interruptions erase permanent progress. Adjust your routine without abandoning your purpose. Adaptation is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. Another valuable practice is measuring progress based on actions instead of outcomes. Outcomes are influenced by many factors beyond your control. Actions remain within your responsibility. Celebrate completing your daily study session rather than worrying immediately about examination results. Celebrate practicing your skill instead of becoming obsessed with recognition. Celebrate honoring your routine because those actions eventually produce the outcomes you seek. Your thoughts also develop through repetition. If you constantly repeat negative beliefs about yourself, they gradually become familiar and believable. Replace those thoughts with honest encouragement grounded in action. Instead of saying you are incapable, remind yourself that ability grows through practice. Instead of believing you always fail, remember every small promise you have already kept. Your inner dialogue shapes your attitude toward every challenge you face. There is no finish line where discipline suddenly becomes unnecessary. Every stage of life presents new opportunities to grow. Reaching one goal simply prepares you to pursue another with greater wisdom and experience. This understanding keeps you humble because you recognize that improvement remains a lifelong responsibility. Protect your mornings, protect your evenings, protect the small habits that shape your character. They may appear insignificant to others, but they quietly build the foundation of your future. One disciplined day becomes another. One responsible choice leads to another. Over time, those individual decisions create a life that reflects purpose instead of chance. Many people admire successful individuals without noticing the routines supporting their achievements. They see the results, but overlook the countless mornings of preparation, the evenings of learning, the disciplined choices, the patient practice, and the willingness to continue despite slow progress. Success is often ordinary work performed with extraordinary persistence. As you move forward, remember that consistency is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming dependable. It means choosing growth even when nobody is watching. It means honoring your commitments regardless of external recognition. It means understanding that your future self is shaped by today's repeated actions. Every sunrise presents another opportunity to strengthen the habits that support your goals. Every evening gives you a chance to reflect, adjust, and prepare for tomorrow. The life you hope to build is not waiting for one remarkable breakthrough. It is waiting for today's steady effort to be repeated again and again until excellence becomes your normal way of living. When consistency becomes part of your character, success stops feeling distant because you are becoming the kind of person who creates it every single day. Chapter 3. Eliminate every distraction that steals your time and energy. Every person receives the same 24 hours each day, yet the difference between an ordinary life and an extraordinary one is often found in how those hours are protected. Time moves forward whether it is used wisely or carelessly. Energy is also limited. Once it is spent on things that do not matter, it cannot be fully recovered. This is why learning to eliminate distractions is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. It is not only about getting more work done, it is about giving your best attention to the life you truly want to build. Distractions rarely announce themselves as dangerous. Most appear harmless. A quick look at your phone becomes an hour. One unnecessary conversation steals your focus for the rest of the afternoon. A habit of checking notifications every few minutes slowly weakens your ability to think deeply. By the end of the day, you may feel exhausted, even though very little meaningful progress has been made. The greatest cost of distraction is not lost time alone. It is lost potential. Every moment spent on something that adds no value is a moment that could have been used to strengthen your knowledge, improve your health, deepen an important relationship, or move one step closer to your goals. Life changes through attention. Whatever consistently receives your attention eventually shapes your future. Many people believe they have a time management problem when they actually have an attention management problem. Their schedule may look busy, but much of their mental energy is divided among countless interruptions. They begin one task, stop halfway, respond to a message, watch a short video, answer another notification, return to work, and then become distracted again. Constant switching weakens concentration. Even simple tasks begin to feel difficult because the mind never settles into complete focus. Learning to protect your attention begins with clarity. If you do not know what deserves your focus, every distraction will seem equally important. Spend a few quiet minutes deciding what truly matters. Ask yourself what kind of person you want to become over the next year. Think about the skills you want to develop, the habits you want to strengthen, and the goals that deserve your effort. Once those priorities become clear, it becomes much easier to recognize what does not belong in your daily life. Not every opportunity deserves a yes. Not every invitation must be accepted. Not every opinion requires a response. One of the strongest forms of discipline is the ability to decline what does not support your purpose. Saying no may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you want to please everyone. However, every unnecessary commitment takes time and energy away from something more important. Your phone is one of the greatest sources of distraction if it is not used with intention. Technology is a useful tool, but it becomes harmful when it controls your attention instead of serving your goals. Notice how often you unlock your phone without a clear reason. Many people reach for it automatically during moments of boredom, uncertainty, or even while completing another task. This habit quietly trains the mind to seek constant stimulation instead of developing patience and concentration. Create moments during the day when your phone is placed out of reach. Turn off notifications that do not require immediate attention. Decide specific times for checking messages instead of allowing every alert to interrupt your thinking. At first, this may feel uncomfortable because your mind has become accustomed to frequent interruptions. With practice, your ability to focus will gradually return. Your physical environment also influences your concentration. A cluttered workspace often creates a cluttered mind. When everything around you competes for attention, it becomes harder to remain focused on one important task. Spend a few minutes organizing your surroundings before beginning your work. Remove unnecessary items from your desk. Keep only what supports the task in front of you. A simple environment creates fewer opportunities for distraction. There is another form of distraction that many people overlook. It comes from carrying unnecessary emotional weight. Constant worry about the past drains mental energy. Endless fear about the future steals peace from the present. Anger towards someone who hurt you continues to occupy your thoughts long after the event has ended. These emotional distractions consume attention that could be invested in personal growth. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can decide how long you allow an experience to occupy your mind. Holding on to resentment does not punish the other person. It only prolongs your own suffering. Accept what cannot be changed. Learn from the experience and return your attention to what remains within your control. Every minute spent replaying old disappointments is a minute that cannot be invested in creating a better future. Another hidden distraction is the constant need for approval. Many people shape their decisions around what others might think. They hesitate to pursue meaningful goals because they fear criticism. They delay taking action because they want everyone to agree with their choices. Living this way creates endless mental noise. Your life becomes directed by outside opinions instead of your own values. Not everyone will understand your journey, and they do not need to. Respectful disagreement is part of life. The opinions of others become distractions only when you allow them to replace your own judgment. Listen with humility, consider useful advice, and then make decisions based on your principles rather than your fear of rejection. Protecting your energy also means paying attention to the people who influence your daily life. Some conversations leave you encouraged and ready to grow. Others leave you drained without offering anything meaningful. Spend more time with people who inspire responsibility, honesty, learning, and steady progress. Reduce the amount of time spent around constant negativity, unnecessary conflict, and endless complaints. Your emotional environment deserves the same care as your physical one. Multitasking is another habit that weakens progress. Completing several tasks at once often feels productive, but the quality of your work usually suffers. Your mind performs better when it gives full attention to one responsibility at a time. Finish one important task before moving to the next. This simple approach creates better results while reducing mental fatigue. Rest is also essential for maintaining focus. Some people mistake constant activity for discipline. They work without taking meaningful breaks until their concentration disappears. A tired mind struggles to make wise decisions. Quality sleep, regular movement, healthy food, and moments of quiet reflection are not rewards for productivity. They are necessary conditions for sustained excellence. Taking care of your body allows your mind to perform at its highest level. Pay attention to the words you speak to yourself throughout the day. Negative thinking can become a powerful distraction because it keeps your attention fixed on limitations instead of possibilities. Thoughts such as, "I will never improve," or "I always fail," consume energy without creating solutions. Replace those thoughts with questions that lead to action. Ask yourself what you can learn, what you can improve, and what step you can take next. Your inner conversation should encourage responsibility rather than discourage effort. One practical exercise is to perform a daily review of your attention. At the end of each evening, ask yourself where your energy went during the day. Which activities helped you move forward? Which ones simply consumed time without adding value? You do not need to judge yourself harshly. Honest awareness is enough. Once you recognize repeated distractions, you gain the ability to remove them one by one. Avoid filling every quiet moment with entertainment. Silence has value. Walking without headphones, sitting quietly for a few minutes, or reflecting without constant stimulation allows your mind to organize thoughts and develop clarity. Many creative ideas appear during moments when your attention is no longer crowded by endless information. Remember that distractions often promise immediate comfort, while quietly delaying long-term fulfillment. Choosing comfort in every moment may feel pleasant today, but it often creates regret later. Choosing focused effort may require discipline now, but it builds confidence, skill, and freedom over time. The temporary discomfort of concentration is far smaller than the lasting disappointment of wasted potential. Every meaningful goal demands sacrifice. You cannot keep every habit, every commitment, every source of entertainment, and still expect unlimited progress. Growth requires choosing what deserves your attention and willingly releasing what does not. This is not a loss, it is an investment in the person you are becoming. As your ability to focus grows, you will notice changes beyond productivity. Your decisions become calmer because your mind is less scattered. Your conversations become more meaningful because you are fully present. Your work improves because it receives your complete effort. Your confidence strengthens because each focused day becomes evidence that you can direct your own life. There will always be distractions. The world will continue offering endless opportunities to divide your attention. The difference is that you no longer need to accept every invitation. You have the ability to choose where your energy goes. That choice becomes one of your greatest strengths. Each morning presents a fresh opportunity to guard your attention with purpose. Each decision to ignore an unnecessary interruption strengthens your discipline. Each hour spent on meaningful work builds a future that reflects intention rather than chance. Your life is shaped by what consistently receives your focus. Protect that focus carefully, because your time is irreplaceable, your energy is valuable, and your future depends on how wisely you choose to invest both. Chapter 4. Strengthen your mindset by embracing discipline every single day. A strong mindset is not something people are born with. It is built through repeated choices that strengthen character over time. Every day offers an opportunity to shape the way you think, respond, and act. Some people believe that mental strength appears only during major challenges, but it is actually developed through ordinary moments that most people overlook. The decision to wake up when you planned, complete an important task before seeking comfort, remain calm during frustration, and keep your word to yourself may seem small, yet these choices gradually create a mind that remains steady under pressure. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many imagine it as a harsh way of living without enjoyment or freedom. In reality, discipline creates freedom. It gives you the ability to direct your actions instead of allowing temporary emotions to control your decisions. A person without discipline becomes a prisoner of changing moods, distractions, and impulses. A disciplined person gains the power to choose what truly matters even when easier options are available. Every morning begins before anyone else sees your effort. The first decisions of the day quietly influence everything that follows. If you begin by delaying responsibilities, searching for comfort, and avoiding effort, the rest of the day often follows the same direction. If you begin with purpose, your thinking becomes clearer and your actions become more intentional. This is why your morning deserves protection. Create a beginning that reminds you of the person you are becoming rather than the habits you are trying to leave behind. Discipline is not about forcing yourself through endless struggle. It is about building a relationship with responsibility. You stop asking whether you feel like doing something and instead ask whether it needs to be done. This simple change transforms the way you approach life. Important work no longer depends on excitement. It becomes part of your identity. Many people wait until they feel confident before taking action. Confidence certainly helps, but it is rarely the starting point. Confidence grows after repeated action. Every time you complete something difficult, your mind gathers evidence that you are capable of handling future challenges. This evidence becomes far more powerful than temporary motivation because it is built through experience rather than hope. Think about a person learning a new skill. During the first attempts, mistakes happen often. Progress feels slow, and frustration appears easily. Someone without discipline may stop because the early results seem disappointing. Someone with discipline accepts the uncomfortable beginning as part of the learning process. They continue practicing even when improvement seems difficult to notice. Months later, the difference between these two people becomes obvious. One remained where they started. The other developed ability through persistence. Your mindset is shaped by the standards you choose for yourself. Standards are different from goals. A goal is something you hope to achieve. A standard is the behavior you refuse to compromise. You may have a goal of becoming healthier, but your standard determines whether you prepare nutritious meals, move your body regularly, and respect your need for rest. Goals provide direction. Standards guide daily behavior. There will always be reasons to postpone important work. The weather may not be ideal. Your energy may feel low. Other responsibilities may appear. If every obstacle becomes an excuse, progress slows until it eventually stops. Discipline teaches you to separate genuine limitations from temporary discomfort. Being tired does not always mean you need to stop. Feeling uncertain does not always mean you should wait. Sometimes the best response is simply to take the next small step. A valuable habit is finishing what you begin. Modern life encourages constant switching between tasks, ideas, and ambitions. Many projects remain incomplete because something new always appears more exciting. Completing your work builds trust in yourself. It strengthens patience and teaches your mind that persistence produces results. Even small, unfinished tasks quietly consume mental energy because they remain open in your thoughts. Closing those unfinished commitments creates clarity and satisfaction. Self-control is another important part of discipline. Every day presents opportunities to react without thinking. Someone speaks harshly, a mistake creates frustration, an unexpected problem interrupts your plans. Your first emotional response is not always your wisest response. Mental strength grows when you pause before acting. That short pause gives reason an opportunity to lead instead of emotion. Calm decisions usually create better outcomes than immediate reactions. Discipline also means accepting responsibility for your choices without searching for someone else to blame. Every person experiences difficulties beyond their control. However, your response always remains your responsibility. Instead of asking why life feels unfair, ask what can still be done today. This question shifts your attention away from helplessness and toward action. There are days when visible progress seems absent. You complete your work, follow your routine, and honor your commitments, yet the results remain hidden. During these periods, many people begin doubting themselves. They wonder whether their effort matters. This is where discipline becomes especially valuable. It reminds you that today's work is preparing tomorrow's opportunities, even if today's rewards cannot yet be seen. One practical way to strengthen your mindset is to intentionally choose small challenges. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Finish one difficult task before moving to easier ones. Wake up when your alarm rings instead of pressing it again. Read a few pages instead of spending those minutes on meaningless entertainment. Speak honestly during uncomfortable conversations instead of avoiding them. These simple acts train your mind to become comfortable with effort rather than constantly seeking convenience. Your physical health also influences your mental resilience. A rested mind thinks more clearly. A nourished body supports better concentration. Regular movement improves energy and reduces unnecessary stress. Caring for your body is not separate from strengthening your mindset. The two work together. When you respect your physical well-being, you improve your ability to make wise decisions throughout the day. Do not measure discipline by dramatic achievements alone. Measure it by your ability to remain reliable during ordinary days. Can you continue learning when nobody is watching? Can you stay patient during slow seasons? Can you remain honest when dishonesty would seem easier? These moments quietly reveal the strength of your character. Another important practice is learning to delay immediate satisfaction. Many worthwhile achievements require sacrificing short-term comfort for long-term benefit. Saving money instead of spending it impulsively. Studying instead of avoiding difficult subjects. Preparing healthy meals instead of choosing convenience. These choices may not feel rewarding in the moment, but they create opportunities that impulsive decisions often destroy. Guard your thoughts carefully because repeated thinking becomes habitual thinking. If you repeatedly tell yourself that life is impossible, your actions begin reflecting that belief. If you remind yourself that every challenge contains something to learn, your perspective changes. This does not mean pretending that every situation is easy. It means choosing thoughts that encourage constructive action rather than surrender. There will be moments when discipline feels lonely. Others may not understand why you choose preparation over entertainment, learning over comfort, or responsibility over excuses. Remember that every meaningful achievement requires decisions that are often invisible to everyone else. Your commitment is not for approval. It is for the future you are creating. Another valuable habit is reviewing your actions honestly at the end of each day. Instead of criticizing yourself, ask simple questions. Did I act according to my values today? Where did I allow emotions to guide poor decisions? Which moments demonstrated strength? Which situations revealed areas that still need improvement? Honest reflection transforms daily experiences into lasting wisdom. Do not expect perfection from yourself. Even disciplined people make mistakes. The difference is that they do not allow one mistake to become a permanent pattern. If you miss a planned activity, begin again the next day. If you make a poor decision, learn from it instead of allowing guilt to control your future choices. Progress depends more on returning to your principles than on avoiding every error. Remember that your identity is shaped by repeated actions. Every disciplined decision quietly changes the way you see yourself. You begin recognizing yourself as someone who finishes what they start, someone who remains dependable during difficult moments, someone who chooses responsibility over comfort. This identity becomes stronger with every consistent choice you make. Your future is not waiting for one extraordinary breakthrough. It is being created through the habits you strengthen today. Every challenge you face is also an opportunity to practice patience, responsibility, self-control, and perseverance. These qualities cannot be purchased or borrowed. They are earned through daily effort. As the days become weeks and the weeks become months, you will notice changes that once seemed impossible. Difficult tasks will no longer feel overwhelming because your ability to handle discomfort has increased. Setbacks will no longer shake your confidence because your stability comes from character rather than circumstances. Decisions will become clearer because your values have become stronger than temporary emotions. Continue choosing discipline even when the path feels ordinary. Continue honoring your commitments even when recognition is absent. Continue building your character one decision at a time. A resilient mindset is not created by waiting for easier conditions. It is built by meeting each day with purpose, accepting responsibility for your actions, and proving through consistent behavior that you are capable of becoming the person you have decided to be. Chapter 5. Replace excuses with actions that move your life forward. Every person has dreams, plans, and ambitions, yet not everyone moves toward them. The difference is rarely found in intelligence, talent, or opportunity alone. More often, it is found in the choices made each day. Some people spend years explaining why they cannot move forward. Others quietly begin with what they have and improve little by little. The distance between these two lives grows larger with every passing year. Excuses keep life exactly where it is. Action changes its direction. An excuse often sounds reasonable. It usually contains some truth. You may not have enough time. You may not have enough money. You may not feel fully prepared. You may have experienced disappointment in the past. These situations are real and they should not be ignored. However, there is an important difference between recognizing a challenge and allowing that challenge to become a permanent reason for standing still. Life rarely offers perfect conditions for growth. If you wait until every problem disappears, you may wait forever. Progress begins when you ask a different question. Instead of asking why something cannot be done, ask what can be done today with the resources already available. This shift in thinking changes everything because it directs your attention toward possibility instead of limitation. There is great strength in accepting that you cannot control every circumstance, but you can always choose your next response. That response may be small. It may not solve every problem immediately. Even so, one meaningful action creates movement, and movement creates momentum. Momentum often reveals opportunities that remain invisible to those who never begin. Think about how many goals are delayed by one simple phrase. I will start later. Later becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Before long, another year has passed. The future many people imagine never arrives because it is always scheduled for another day. The only moment where change can actually begin is the present one. One helpful habit is replacing every excuse with a practical question. If you think you do not have enough time, ask where your current time is going. If you believe you lack knowledge, ask which book, course, or mentor could help you learn. If you think a goal feels too large, ask what the smallest possible first step would be. Questions open the door to solutions. Excuses close that door before you even try. Many people underestimate the value of beginning before they feel ready. Waiting for complete certainty often leads to endless hesitation. Growth happens while you are learning, adjusting, and improving along the way. Every experienced person was once a beginner. Every expert once made mistakes. Every confident speaker once felt nervous. Every successful business once started with uncertainty. Readiness grows through action rather than waiting. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It quietly tells you that more preparation is needed, that failure would be embarrassing, or that another time would be better. Sometimes additional preparation is useful. Other times, fear simply wants to protect you from discomfort. The challenge is learning to recognize the difference. If you have prepared reasonably well, there comes a moment when action becomes more valuable than additional planning. Responsibility is one of the most powerful qualities you can develop. It means accepting ownership of your choices without blaming circumstances or other people for everything that happens. This does not mean every difficulty is your fault. Many situations are outside your control. Responsibility means deciding that your response belongs to you. It means refusing to surrender your future simply because your past was difficult. There is also a hidden cost to repeated excuses. Every time you convince yourself that you cannot act, your confidence quietly weakens. Your mind begins to believe that you are powerless. Over time, this belief becomes a habit. The opposite is also true. Every completed action, no matter how small, strengthens your belief that you are capable of making progress. Confidence is built through evidence, and your daily actions provide that evidence. Consider someone who wants to improve physical health. An excuse might say, "There is no time for exercise because work is demanding." Action asks whether 15 minutes of movement is possible before breakfast or after dinner. Another person wants to improve financially, but believes there is no opportunity to learn. Action asks whether 30 minutes of reading or studying each evening could begin building new skills. Someone wants stronger relationships, but believes life is too busy. Action encourages sending one thoughtful message, making one phone call, or spending uninterrupted time with someone who matters. Notice that action does not require perfection. It requires willingness. One useful practice is creating a habit of immediate movement. Whenever you notice yourself making an excuse, stop for a moment and take one small step before your mind talks you out of it. Write the first paragraph. Organize the first page. Make the first phone call. Walk for 10 minutes. Clean one section of your room. Save a small amount of money. These actions may appear simple, but they interrupt the habit of delay and replace it with progress. Another obstacle many people face is believing they must see the entire path before taking the first step. Life rarely works this way. Most journeys become clear only after movement begins. New ideas appear during action. Better opportunities appear after effort. Helpful people often appear once they see your commitment. Waiting for complete certainty keeps you standing at the starting line while others continue learning through experience. Pay attention to the language you use when speaking to yourself. Words influence decisions. Instead of saying, "I have to," try saying, "I choose to." Instead of saying, "I cannot," ask, "How can I?" These small changes create a greater sense of ownership. They remind you that many choices remain available even during difficult circumstances. There will always be people who achieve impressive results despite limited resources. They are not successful because their lives were free from challenges. They became successful because they refused to allow those challenges to define every decision. This does not mean their journey was easy. It means they consistently looked for the next useful action instead of waiting for ideal conditions. Patience also plays an important role. Taking action does not guarantee immediate rewards. Some efforts require months or years before meaningful results appear. During that time, doubt may return. You may question whether your work matters. Continue anyway. Every worthwhile achievement demands persistence. Slow progress is still progress if you remain committed. Another important lesson is accepting mistakes without allowing them to become permanent identities. A failed attempt does not make you a failure. A poor decision does not define your future. Every mistake contains information. Ask what it teaches rather than allowing it to convince you to stop. Wisdom grows from honest reflection followed by better action. Surround yourself with people who value responsibility. Their attitude will influence your own thinking. Spend time with those who ask how problems can be solved instead of constantly discussing why nothing will work. Positive influence does not ignore reality. It encourages practical effort despite reality. Make it a habit to finish each day by identifying one meaningful action you completed. It does not have to be dramatic. Perhaps you learned something new, completed an important responsibility, exercised, solved a problem, or helped another person. Recognizing these actions reminds your mind that progress is already happening. It strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. There is another valuable principle to remember. Energy often follows action rather than preceding it. Many people expect motivation to arrive before beginning. In truth, enthusiasm frequently appears after you start moving. Completing the first few minutes of work often creates enough momentum to continue. Waiting for perfect feelings keeps you inactive. Beginning despite imperfect feelings creates possibility. Do not compare your beginning with another person's years of experience. Every individual walks a different path. Focus on becoming more capable than you were yesterday. That comparison is fair because it is based on your own growth rather than someone else's journey. As your habit of taking action becomes stronger, you will notice changes beyond your achievements. Decision-making becomes easier because hesitation loses its influence. Challenges become less intimidating because you trust your ability to respond. Confidence becomes quieter but stronger because it is built on repeated experience instead of empty hope. Every sunrise presents another opportunity to choose movement instead of delay. Every obstacle invites you to search for a solution rather than another explanation. Every difficult moment allows you to strengthen your character through responsible action. The future you want will never be built by perfect plans alone. It will be built by ordinary days filled with purposeful decisions. Your life moves in the direction of your repeated choices. Excuses keep your attention on reasons to remain where you are. Action shifts your attention toward the person you are becoming. Replace hesitation with effort. Replace doubt with learning. Replace delay with the next meaningful step. Day after day, those choices quietly transform not only your results, but also your identity. You become someone who does not wait for life to improve before acting. You become someone who creates improvement through action, responsibility, and the steady decision to move forward regardless of the circumstances. Chapter 6. Improve your skills until your results become impossible to ignore. The quality of your life is closely connected to the quality of your skills. Every opportunity you receive, every problem you solve, and every contribution you make is influenced by what you know and what you are capable of doing. While circumstances may affect where you begin, your willingness to improve determines how far you can go. Skills create value, and value creates opportunities. The more useful you become, the more doors begin to open. Many people dream about achieving remarkable results, yet they spend very little time becoming better at the work that produces those results. They become frustrated when recognition arrives slowly, forgetting that lasting success is built on competence. Recognition often follows ability, not the other way around. Instead of asking why success has not appeared yet, ask whether your current skills reflect the future you hope to create. Improvement begins with honesty. Take a careful look at your strengths and your weaknesses. This is not an exercise in self-criticism. It is an opportunity to understand where growth is needed. Every accomplished person has areas that require development. The difference is that they choose to face those areas instead of pretending they do not exist. Select one skill that would make the greatest difference in your life if it improved significantly. It may be communication, leadership, writing, problem-solving, financial understanding, organization, teaching, listening, or another ability connected to your goals. Trying to master everything at once often leads to scattered effort. Concentrated attention creates deeper progress. Learning requires humility. There is always something new to understand regardless of your current level of experience. The moment you believe there is nothing left to learn, improvement begins to slow. Stay curious. Ask thoughtful questions. Read books written by people who have already achieved what you hope to accomplish. Observe how experienced individuals approach challenges. Every conversation and every experience can become a lesson if your mind remains open. Practice should always have a purpose. Repeating the same mistakes without reflection does not create excellence. Meaningful practice involves paying attention to what can be improved. After completing a task, pause for a moment and ask yourself what went well and what could be done better next time. Small adjustments made consistently produce remarkable progress over the years. Do not become discouraged by slow improvement. Some abilities require thousands of careful repetitions before they feel natural. During the early stages, your progress may seem almost invisible. This is normal. Every expert has experienced the awkward beginning where nothing felt smooth or effortless. The important decision is continuing despite temporary frustration. Patience becomes especially valuable while developing new abilities. There is often a gap between effort and visible results. During this period, many people become impatient and quit because they believe they are not improving. In reality, growth is taking place beneath the surface. Your understanding becomes deeper, your judgment becomes sharper, your confidence slowly increases. These changes prepare you for future success even before anyone else notices them. Feedback is one of the fastest ways to improve. Many people avoid it because they fear criticism. They see correction as a personal attack instead of an opportunity to grow. Constructive feedback is valuable because it reveals blind spots that are difficult to recognize on your own. Listen carefully. Accept useful advice without becoming defensive. Then apply what you have learned through consistent practice. There is also great value in teaching what you know. Explaining ideas to someone else strengthens your own understanding. It forces you to organize your thoughts clearly and identify areas where your knowledge still needs improvement. Sharing what you have learned is not only generous, it also deepens your own mastery. Protect time for learning as carefully as you protect time for important responsibilities. Improvement does not happen by accident. Set aside dedicated moments each day to study, practice, and reflect. Even 30 focused minutes can create noticeable progress when repeated over months. Consistency in learning often produces greater results than occasional periods of intense effort followed by long breaks. One common mistake is becoming satisfied with average performance. Average effort usually produces average results. If you want extraordinary opportunities, your standards must continue rising. Each time you improve one ability, ask yourself what the next level looks like. Continue stretching your potential instead of settling into comfort. Avoid comparing your progress to someone else's timeline. Every individual begins with different experiences, different resources, and different challenges. Your responsibility is not to match another person's pace. Your responsibility is to continue improving your own abilities. When you compare yourself only with who you were in the past, progress becomes much easier to recognize and appreciate. Mistakes should become teachers rather than reasons to stop. Every error contains valuable information if you are willing to examine it honestly. Instead of asking why something went wrong, ask what lesson it offers. Every setback becomes useful when it improves your future decisions. This mindset transforms failure from an ending into part of the learning process. Your daily habits either strengthen your abilities or allow them to weaken. Reading thoughtful material expands your understanding. Solving difficult problems sharpens your thinking. Practicing communication improves your confidence. Listening carefully improves your relationships. Every positive habit contributes to long-term excellence. Every neglected habit quietly limits your potential. Surround yourself with people who encourage learning. Spend time with individuals who ask meaningful questions, enjoy solving problems, and value continuous improvement. Their attitude will influence your own. Conversations with growth-minded people often introduce ideas that challenge you to think differently and improve further. Do not confuse activity with progress. Being busy does not always mean you are becoming better. Sometimes people spend countless hours repeating familiar tasks without developing new abilities. Make sure your effort includes intentional learning. Choose activities that stretch your current level instead of remaining only within what already feels comfortable. Reading is one of the simplest ways to expand your perspective. Books allow you to learn from years of experience gathered by others. One useful idea applied consistently can change the direction of your life. Read slowly enough to understand. Pause to reflect. Write down important lessons. Most importantly, apply what you learn. Knowledge without action remains unused potential. Observe successful people with curiosity rather than envy. Pay attention to how they prepare, communicate, solve problems, and manage challenges. Notice their habits rather than only their achievements. Success leaves clues for those willing to learn from careful observation. As your abilities improve, continue remaining humble. Pride often prevents further growth because it convinces people they already know enough. Humility keeps your mind open to better methods, fresh ideas, and valuable correction. True confidence does not need to prove superiority. It quietly continues learning. There will be moments when improvement feels demanding. You may need to study after a long day, practice while others choose entertainment, or repeat difficult exercises until they finally become natural. These moments shape your future more than brief periods of inspiration. Excellence is usually built through patient repetition rather than dramatic breakthroughs. One practical habit is keeping a record of your progress. Write down what you learned each week. Record new abilities, lessons from mistakes, completed projects, and areas that still require attention. Looking back over several months will remind you how much growth has already taken place. This record becomes powerful evidence that steady effort produces meaningful change. Remember that every skill has practical value only when it serves others. Knowledge becomes meaningful when it helps solve problems, improve lives, or create something useful. Ask yourself regularly how your growing abilities can benefit the people around you. The more value you provide, the greater your impact becomes. Do not become discouraged if your efforts are not immediately recognized. Recognition often arrives long after preparation begins. Continue improving because excellence has value even before it receives attention. The habits you build, the knowledge you gain, and the discipline you develop become permanent assets that no one can take away. Another important lesson is protecting your enthusiasm for learning. Curiosity keeps your mind active, regardless of age or experience. Continue exploring new ideas. Continue asking thoughtful questions. Continue seeking better ways to perform familiar tasks. A curious mind continues growing, while a satisfied mind often remains where it is. Your future opportunities will often be limited less by external circumstances and more by the abilities you choose to develop today. Every hour spent learning becomes an investment in the person you are becoming. Every lesson mastered expands what is possible tomorrow. Every improvement increases your ability to face larger responsibilities with confidence. As time passes, your work will begin to reflect the effort you invested behind the scenes. People may describe your success as natural or fortunate because they only notice the visible results. They will not see the quiet evenings spent studying, the repeated practice, the careful preparation, the corrections accepted with humility, and the determination to improve one small step at a time. Continue sharpening your abilities even after reaching important milestones. Growth has no final destination. Every achievement simply prepares you for greater responsibility. Stay committed to learning, remain patient during the process, and keep raising your standards. When your dedication to improvement becomes stronger than your desire for quick recognition, your abilities will continue expanding until the quality of your work becomes impossible to ignore. Chapter 7. Protect your peace by choosing better people every day. Peace is one of the most valuable things you can protect, yet many people give it away without realizing it. They allow the opinions, habits, attitudes, and behaviors of others to shape how they feel every day. They spend time with people who constantly create conflict, spread negativity, ignore boundaries, or discourage personal growth. Over time, this slowly drains their energy, weakens their confidence, and steals their ability to focus on what truly matters. The people around you have a greater influence on your life than you may notice. They affect the way you think, the way you speak, the choices you make, and even the expectations you develop for yourself. If you spend enough time in an environment filled with fear, criticism, and constant complaints, those attitudes begin to feel normal. On the other hand, when you spend time with people who value honesty, responsibility, kindness, and personal growth, those qualities gradually become part of your own character. Choosing better people does not mean searching for perfect people, because no one is perfect. Every person has flaws, makes mistakes, and faces struggles. The difference is found in attitude. Some people take responsibility for their actions, while others always blame someone else. Some people learn from failure, while others repeat the same patterns without changing. Some encourage those around them to grow, while others become uncomfortable when they see someone improving. One of the greatest acts of self-respect is choosing relationships that bring peace instead of confusion. Healthy relationships do not remove every disagreement, but they are built on trust, honesty, patience, and mutual respect. You should feel safe expressing your thoughts without fear of constant judgment. You should feel encouraged to become a better person instead of feeling pressured to stay the same. Many people remain connected to unhealthy relationships because they fear loneliness. They believe that any company is better than being alone. In reality, constant exposure to harmful influences often creates a deeper loneliness than quiet time spent improving yourself. Solitude can become a place where you learn, reflect, heal, and grow. It allows you to understand your values without outside pressure. Being alone for a season is often healthier than remaining surrounded by people who repeatedly disturb your peace. Pay close attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you leave the conversation feeling encouraged, respected, and motivated, or do you leave feeling exhausted, anxious, discouraged, or emotionally drained? Your emotions often reveal the true effect a relationship has on your life. While everyone experiences difficult days, a consistent pattern of negativity deserves careful attention. There are people who constantly create unnecessary drama. Every conversation becomes an argument. Every situation becomes a crisis. Every problem becomes someone else's fault. These individuals often consume enormous amounts of emotional energy without taking responsibility for improving their own lives. You cannot rescue someone who refuses to change. Compassion is important, but compassion does not require sacrificing your own well-being. Learning to establish healthy boundaries is essential. A boundary is not a punishment. It is a clear decision about what you will and will not accept in your life. Boundaries protect your time, your emotional health, and your values. They allow you to remain kind without allowing others to take advantage of your generosity. Many people struggle with boundaries because they worry about disappointing others. They say yes when they truly mean no. They accept disrespect because they fear conflict. They continue unhealthy patterns because they want everyone to approve of them. Eventually, they become exhausted because they are carrying responsibilities that were never theirs to begin with. Respectfully saying no is sometimes one of the wisest decisions you can make. You do not need to explain every choice in great detail. You do not need permission to protect your well-being. A calm and honest response is enough. People who genuinely respect you will also respect your boundaries, even if they do not always agree with them. Trust is another foundation of peaceful relationships. Trust grows through consistent actions over time. It cannot be demanded, and it cannot be built through empty promises. Notice whether people's actions match their words. Reliability often speaks louder than impressive conversations. Someone who consistently keeps small promises usually deserves greater trust than someone who frequently makes grand promises without following through. Your friendships should inspire growth instead of encouraging comfort at the expense of your future. A true friend celebrates your progress rather than feeling threatened by it. They tell you the truth with kindness when you need correction. They encourage your goals instead of mocking your ambition. They remain present during difficult seasons instead of appearing only when everything is easy. Be careful with constant comparison. Some relationships quietly become competitions instead of sources of encouragement. Every achievement becomes something to measure rather than celebrate. This creates unnecessary tension and steals joy from both people. Healthy relationships allow room for individual success without jealousy or resentment. Another important lesson is learning to forgive without always returning to the same harmful situation. Forgiveness releases the burden of bitterness from your own heart. It allows you to move forward without carrying anger every day. However, forgiveness does not always require restoring the same level of trust or closeness. Wisdom recognizes that some patterns continue unless healthy distance is created. Your words also influence the quality of your relationships. Speak honestly without being harsh. Listen carefully before responding. Show appreciation for the people who bring goodness into your life. Small acts of gratitude strengthen meaningful connections. A sincere thank you, a thoughtful message, or a kind conversation often carries more value than expensive gifts. Protecting your peace also means limiting unnecessary arguments. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. Some people simply want conflict rather than understanding. Learn to recognize the difference between a productive conversation and an endless debate. Walking away from unnecessary conflict is often a sign of maturity rather than weakness. Pay attention to the information people constantly share with you. If every conversation centers on gossip, criticism, or negativity, your thinking gradually becomes influenced by those subjects. Instead, seek conversations that teach, encourage, solve problems, and inspire action. The quality of your conversations often reflects the quality of your environment. Family relationships sometimes require special wisdom because they carry deep emotional connections. Loving your family does not always mean agreeing with every behavior. It is possible to remain respectful while creating healthy boundaries where necessary. Protecting your emotional well-being does not mean abandoning compassion. It means balancing kindness with wisdom. Choose people who celebrate honesty over appearance. Some individuals care more about looking successful than becoming responsible. Others quietly work on improving their character every day without seeking attention. Character always lasts longer than appearances. Build relationships with people whose values remain steady even when circumstances change. One valuable habit is becoming the type of person you hope to meet. Show respect consistently. Keep your promises. Speak truthfully. Remain dependable. Offer encouragement without expecting immediate rewards. Listen carefully. Continue learning. The qualities you develop within yourself naturally attract healthier relationships over time. Do not rush friendships or partnerships. Time reveals character more clearly than first impressions. Observe how people respond during stress, disappointment, success, and disagreement. These moments often reveal values that ordinary conversations cannot. Patience protects you from placing trust too quickly. As you continue growing, your relationships may naturally change. Some people will support your progress. Others may become uncomfortable because your priorities no longer match theirs. This can feel painful, especially when shared history is involved. Accept that growth sometimes creates distance. Not every relationship is meant to continue in the same form forever. Your peace deserves daily protection because it influences every part of your life. A peaceful mind makes wiser decisions. A peaceful heart responds with greater patience. A peaceful environment allows your best qualities to develop without constant interruption. This peace is not created by avoiding every challenge. It is created by choosing relationships that strengthen your values instead of weakening them. Each day gives you an opportunity to choose who influences your thinking, your emotions, and your direction. Invest your time in people who encourage responsibility, humility, integrity, and hope. Be grateful for those who challenge you to grow while respecting who you are. Continue building relationships based on trust rather than convenience, honesty rather than appearances, and mutual respect rather than control. The people who deserve a place in your life are not necessarily the loudest, the most popular, or the most impressive. They are the ones whose presence brings clarity instead of confusion, encouragement instead of discouragement, and stability instead of constant turmoil. As you become more intentional about the company you keep, you will discover that protecting your peace is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of wisdom that allows you to become the strongest, kindest, and most grounded version of yourself, while creating a life surrounded by relationships that truly help you move forward. Chapter 8. Overcome every setback with courage, patience, and determined action. Every meaningful journey includes moments that test your patience, challenge your confidence, and force you to question whether you should continue. No person who has accomplished something worthwhile has traveled through life without setbacks. Difficult days are not a sign that you are moving in the wrong direction. They are often part of the process that shapes stronger character, deeper wisdom, and greater resilience. When something goes wrong, your first reaction is important, but it does not have to control your next decision. You may feel disappointed after losing an opportunity. You may feel frustrated when your hard work does not produce the result you expected. You may feel discouraged when a plan fails despite your best effort. These emotions are natural. What matters is what you choose to do after those emotions appear. A setback becomes dangerous only when it convinces you to stop trying. Life does not promise that every effort will succeed on the first attempt. Sometimes you prepare carefully and still experience failure. Sometimes you make wise decisions and still face unexpected problems. Sometimes circumstances change without warning, forcing you to begin again. These experiences are painful, but they also reveal something important. They show whether your commitment depends only on easy progress or whether it is built on something much stronger. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to move forward even when fear is present. Every important decision requires some level of uncertainty. Starting a new project, learning a new skill, changing careers, rebuilding after disappointment, or pursuing a meaningful goal all involve risks. Waiting until fear completely disappears often means waiting forever. Courage grows through action, not through perfect confidence. One of the greatest mistakes people make after experiencing failure is believing that one event defines their future. A single rejection does not determine your value. One unsuccessful attempt does not decide what you are capable of achieving. One difficult season does not predict the rest of your life. Every day offers another opportunity to respond differently. Instead of asking why something happened, ask what it can teach you. This simple question transforms pain into education. Every setback contains information that can improve your future decisions if you are willing to examine it honestly. Perhaps you need more preparation. Perhaps your strategy needs adjustment. Perhaps your expectations were unrealistic. Or perhaps you simply encountered circumstances beyond your control. Whatever the lesson may be, accept it with humility and carry it forward instead of carrying regret. Patience becomes especially valuable during difficult seasons because meaningful recovery rarely happens overnight. Whether you are rebuilding confidence, improving finances, strengthening your health, or restoring hope after disappointment, lasting progress usually happens one step at a time. Many people become discouraged because they expect immediate improvement. Real growth follows a slower path. It asks you to remain faithful to the process even when visible change is limited. Imagine someone planting seeds in a field. After the work is finished, nothing appears above the ground for some time. That does not mean nothing is happening. Beneath the surface, important development is taking place. Your own progress often works in the same way. The lessons you learn during hardship quietly prepare you for responsibilities you could not have handled before. There is strength in accepting reality without surrendering to it. Denial wastes valuable energy because it refuses to acknowledge the situation as it truly is. Acceptance is different. Acceptance says that this challenge exists, and now it is time to decide how to respond. This mindset keeps your attention on solutions instead of becoming trapped in endless frustration. Some setbacks are caused by your own mistakes. Others are completely outside your control. Wisdom comes from knowing the difference. If you made an error, accept responsibility without destroying your confidence. Correct what can be corrected. Apologize where necessary and continue growing. If the situation was beyond your control, release the burden of blaming yourself for something you could not prevent. Carrying unnecessary guilt only makes recovery more difficult. Determined action means refusing to remain inactive while waiting for life to improve on its own. Even small steps matter after disappointment. Organize your next plan. Continue learning. Strengthen your daily routine. Improve one area of your life while another area is recovering. Action creates movement, and movement gradually replaces helplessness with hope. Your thoughts require careful attention during difficult moments. A setback often invites destructive thinking. You may begin believing that every future attempt will fail. You may question your abilities or compare yourself unfairly with others. These thoughts feel convincing because they are influenced by emotion rather than truth. Challenge them with evidence. Remember previous obstacles you have already overcome. Remember problems that once seemed impossible but eventually became manageable. Your history contains proof that you are capable of adapting. Avoid making permanent decisions during temporary emotional pain. A difficult week should not convince you to abandon a meaningful dream. Give yourself time to think clearly before making major choices. Patience protects you from allowing one emotional moment to shape your entire future. Another important practice is maintaining healthy routines during hard seasons. It is easy to neglect sleep, nutrition, exercise, and learning when life becomes difficult. Yet these habits become even more important during challenging times. They provide stability when other parts of life feel uncertain. Taking care of your body supports your ability to think clearly and make wise decisions. Do not isolate yourself completely when facing setbacks. Quiet reflection is valuable, but healthy support is also important. Speak with people who are honest, encouraging, and wise. Choose those who remind you of your strengths without ignoring reality. A thoughtful conversation can provide perspective that is difficult to find when carrying every burden alone. Be careful not to measure your worth by temporary outcomes. Success and failure are experiences. They are not identities. Your value comes from your character, your willingness to learn, your integrity, and your continued effort. These qualities remain available regardless of current circumstances. Every setback develops qualities that comfort never could. Patience grows while waiting. Wisdom grows through reflection. Humility grows from accepting correction. Compassion grows after experiencing personal struggle. Inner strength grows each time you refuse to surrender. These qualities become lasting parts of your character and continue serving you long after the difficult season has ended. There will be moments when progress feels almost invisible. You may wonder whether your effort is making any difference. During these times, remember that consistency often produces results gradually rather than suddenly. Continue honoring your commitments. Continue improving your skills. Continue showing up each day with purpose. Progress may be quiet, but quiet progress still moves you forward. Forgive yourself for being human. You will occasionally make poor decisions. You will sometimes misjudge situations. You will experience moments of weakness. None of these moments cancel your ability to become wiser. Self-forgiveness is not ignoring mistakes. It is refusing to remain trapped by them. Learn the lesson, accept responsibility where appropriate, and continue building a better future. Another powerful habit is keeping your attention on the next right action instead of becoming overwhelmed by the entire journey. After a setback, the future can appear uncertain. Rather than trying to solve every problem immediately, identify one meaningful task that can be completed today. Finish it well. Then choose another tomorrow. Large recoveries are built from many small victories. Remember that difficult experiences often deepen gratitude. When life becomes easier again, you appreciate simple blessings that once went unnoticed. You value supportive relationships, good health, peaceful moments, and opportunities to grow. Hardship has a way of revealing what truly matters. You may also discover strengths you never realized you possessed. Many people only recognize their resilience after facing situations they never expected. They find courage because circumstances require it. They become more patient because rushing no longer helps. They become more compassionate because they understand struggle from personal experience. Challenges often uncover qualities that comfort leaves hidden. Do not allow temporary delays to convince you that your purpose has disappeared. A slower path is still a path forward if you continue walking. Life does not always unfold according to your preferred schedule, but that does not mean meaningful progress has stopped. Stay committed to becoming a better person regardless of external circumstances. As you continue moving forward, you will eventually look back and recognize that many of the moments you once feared became important turning points. They forced you to become more thoughtful, more disciplined, more patient, and more resilient. They changed not only your direction, but also your character. The person who refuses to give up gains something far more valuable than immediate success. They develop quiet confidence built through experience rather than hope alone. They understand that setbacks are not final chapters, but opportunities to begin a wiser one. They trust their ability to adapt because they have done it before. Every sunrise brings another opportunity to continue your journey. Meet each new day with courage that refuses to retreat, patience that accepts steady progress, and determined action that keeps moving regardless of obstacles. No setback has the power to define the rest of your life unless you surrender your willingness to continue. As long as you keep learning, adapting, and taking purposeful steps forward, every challenge becomes another part of the foundation supporting the stronger person you are becoming. Chapter 9. Commit fully until your goals become your everyday reality. A goal becomes meaningful only when it changes the way you live. Many people enjoy setting goals because imagining a better future feels exciting. They write plans, make promises to themselves, and picture the life they want. Yet, after a short time, daily responsibilities, unexpected challenges, and temporary emotions begin to compete for their attention. The goal slowly moves into the background until it becomes another unfinished idea. The difference between those who only dream and those who truly transform their lives is commitment. Commitment is a decision that remains steady even when circumstances change. It does not disappear because progress feels slow. It does not weaken because recognition takes longer than expected. It stays focused because it understands that meaningful achievements require more than enthusiasm. They require persistence that continues through ordinary days as well as difficult ones. The first step toward complete commitment is knowing exactly why your goal matters. A goal without a clear reason is easily abandoned. Spend time thinking about what achieving your goal will improve. Perhaps it will allow you to provide a better future for your family. Perhaps it will improve your health, increase your confidence, create financial stability, or allow you to serve others more effectively. When your purpose becomes personal, your determination becomes stronger. Write your reason where you can see it often. Read it in the morning before your day begins. Read it again when your motivation feels low. This simple reminder reconnects your daily effort with the future you are working to create. It helps you remember that today's actions are connected to something much greater than temporary comfort. Many people fail because they become emotionally attached to quick results instead of becoming committed to steady progress. They expect visible success within weeks and become discouraged when reality moves more slowly. Lasting change rarely follows an instant path. It grows through repeated effort that often goes unnoticed for a long time. Accepting this truth allows you to remain patient without losing enthusiasm. A powerful way to strengthen commitment is to make your goals specific. General intentions create general effort. Clear goals create clear action. Instead of saying you want to become healthier, decide what habits you will practice each day. Instead of saying you want to improve financially, decide how much you will save, learn, or earn through consistent work. Clear direction removes uncertainty and helps you measure real progress. Once your goal is defined, connect it to your daily schedule. Dreams become reality through calendars, routines, and repeated actions. If something is truly important, it deserves a place in your day rather than waiting for extra time that rarely appears. Protect that time with the same seriousness you would protect an important appointment. By doing this, you show yourself that your future deserves attention today. There will be moments when excitement fades. This is completely normal. Human emotions naturally rise and fall. If your commitment depends entirely on feeling inspired, your progress will always be inconsistent. Learn to continue even when your mood changes. Your future benefits far more from reliable action than from occasional bursts of enthusiasm. Every worthwhile goal asks you to give up something in return. You may need to sacrifice extra entertainment, unnecessary spending, wasted hours, or comfortable routines that no longer support your future. These sacrifices are not punishments. They are investments. You are exchanging temporary pleasure for lasting improvement. Avoid becoming distracted by how far you still have to go. Looking only at the remaining distance can make even meaningful progress feel small. Instead, notice how much you have already learned. Remember the habits you have built, the challenges you have overcome, and the discipline you have developed. Gratitude for progress strengthens your confidence without making you complacent. Another valuable habit is finishing each week with an honest review. Ask yourself whether your actions matched your priorities. Which choices brought you closer to your goal? Which habits weakened your progress? What practical adjustment can you make before the next week begins? This regular reflection prevents small mistakes from becoming long-term patterns. Commitment also requires flexibility. Your destination may remain the same while your methods improve over time. Sometimes a strategy stops working. Sometimes new information reveals a better approach. Do not confuse changing your method with abandoning your purpose. Wise people adapt while remaining faithful to what truly matters. Protect your attention from unnecessary comparisons. Someone else may achieve similar goals more quickly. Another person may receive recognition before you. None of this changes your own journey. Every hour spent measuring your progress against others is an hour that could have been invested in improving yourself. Your responsibility is not to compete with another life. It is to become the fullest expression of your own potential. Keep your promises to yourself, especially the small ones. When you decide to complete an important task, follow through. When you commit to learning, continue learning. When you choose a healthy habit, respect that decision. Every promise you keep strengthens self-trust. Over time, you stop wondering whether you can depend on yourself because your actions have already answered that question. Success often appears ordinary while it is being built. It looks like another early morning, another hour of practice, another careful decision, another completed responsibility. From the outside, these moments seem unremarkable. Together, they create extraordinary results. Never underestimate the value of simple actions performed faithfully over a long period. It is also important to celebrate meaningful milestones without allowing them to become places where growth stops. Every achievement deserves appreciation because it represents effort, patience, and learning. At the same time, remember that one accomplishment is not the end of your journey. It is evidence that your process is working and that you are capable of reaching even greater goals with continued dedication. Some days will test your commitment more than others. You may face disappointment, unexpected delays, or personal challenges that make progress feel difficult. During these moments, return to the basics. Focus on completing today's responsibilities instead of worrying about tomorrow's uncertainties. A difficult season becomes manageable when you continue taking one responsible step at a time. Your environment can either strengthen or weaken your dedication. Fill your surroundings with reminders of the future you are creating. Keep useful books nearby. Organize your workspace. Spend time with people who respect hard work and personal growth. Reduce exposure to influences that constantly encourage distraction, doubt, or careless living. Your environment should make your best choices easier rather than harder. Learn to appreciate the quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing you honored your commitments. External rewards are enjoyable, but they are not the deepest source of fulfillment. Real confidence grows when you know that you acted according to your values, regardless of whether anyone noticed. This inner respect cannot be given by others, and it cannot be taken away by criticism. There is another important truth about commitment. It changes your identity before it changes your circumstances. As you continue acting with consistency, you begin seeing yourself differently. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who hopes for success. You begin recognizing yourself as someone who lives with purpose, responsibility, and determination. This internal change influences every future decision because your actions become aligned with the person you believe yourself to be. Do not allow temporary success to create carelessness. Continue learning after you achieve your first goal. Continue improving after receiving recognition. Continue strengthening your character even when life becomes easier. A strong foundation is maintained through continued attention, not through past achievements alone. Every goal that becomes reality first exists as a series of ordinary choices. Choosing to prepare instead of postpone. Choosing to learn instead of complain. Choosing to finish what you started. Choosing to remain patient when results take time. These decisions may seem small when viewed individually, but together they create a life that reflects commitment rather than convenience. As the months pass, you will begin noticing that the habits which once required great effort have become natural parts of your daily routine. The discipline that once felt difficult now feels familiar. The work that once demanded constant encouragement now feels like a normal responsibility. This is one of the greatest rewards of complete commitment. Your actions become consistent because they are no longer driven only by goals. They are guided by the person you have chosen to become. Remain faithful to your purpose even when the journey becomes demanding. Continue showing up with honesty, patience, and steady effort. Keep refining your skills, strengthening your character, and honoring your responsibilities. When commitment becomes your daily standard instead of a temporary emotion, your goals slowly stop feeling distant. They become part of the life you live each day, and the future you once imagined gradually becomes the reality you have patiently and faithfully created. Chapter 10. Continue growing every day and become your greatest success. There comes a moment when you realize that success is not a destination waiting somewhere in the future. It is becoming the kind of person who continues to improve regardless of circumstances. The greatest victory is not collecting achievements that impress other people. The greatest victory is building a life that reflects your values, your discipline, your character, and your commitment every single day. When you understand this, your relationship with growth changes forever. You stop chasing quick satisfaction and begin investing in lasting transformation. Every day offers a new opportunity to become slightly wiser than you were yesterday. You do not need to make dramatic changes every morning. You simply need to remain willing to learn, adjust, and improve. Small progress may seem ordinary while it is happening, but over months and years, it creates a completely different life. The person who continues growing never stands still because every experience becomes a lesson instead of a reason to complain. Many people believe success means reaching a point where there is nothing left to improve. That belief creates disappointment because life continually presents new responsibilities and new opportunities to grow. Each achievement prepares you for another challenge. Each lesson opens the door to deeper understanding. This is not something to fear. It is one of life's greatest gifts because it means you never run out of opportunities to become a stronger, wiser, and kinder person. Growth begins with curiosity. Stay interested in learning even after you have accomplished goals that once seemed impossible. Continue asking thoughtful questions. Continue reading valuable books. Continue listening to people whose experience can expand your understanding. The moment you believe you already know enough is the moment your progress begins to slow. Humility keeps your mind open, and an open mind continues discovering better ways to live. There will always be areas where improvement is possible. Your communication can become clearer. Your patience can become deeper, your decision-making can become wiser, your ability to encourage others can become stronger, your leadership can become more thoughtful. Instead of becoming discouraged by this truth, allow it to inspire you. Every day contains another chance to strengthen a quality that will improve both your own life and the lives of those around you. Do not allow past success to create future comfort. It is easy to relax after reaching an important milestone. While celebration has its place, growth continues only when you remain committed to learning. The habits that helped you reach one level may need to become even stronger to help you reach the next. Excellence is not maintained automatically. It requires continued attention and consistent effort. At the same time, avoid becoming someone who is never satisfied with any progress. There is a difference between striving for improvement and refusing to appreciate how far you have already come. Pause occasionally and recognize the person you have become through your effort. Think about the habits you have changed, the fears you have faced, the wisdom you have gained, and the responsibilities you now handle with greater confidence. Gratitude protects your mind from constantly feeling as though nothing is ever enough. One meaningful practice is to begin each morning with intention and end each evening with reflection. Before your day begins, remind yourself of the kind of person you want to be. At the end of the day, review your actions honestly. Notice where you acted with integrity and where you still have room to improve. This daily awareness creates steady growth because it keeps your attention on your own development rather than on judging other people. As your character becomes stronger, your definition of success also becomes more mature. You begin valuing honesty more than appearance. You value reliability more than popularity. You value wisdom more than recognition. These priorities create a life that remains steady even when external circumstances change. Success built only on praise from others disappears quickly. Success built on strong character remains with you wherever life takes you. Never stop investing in your health. Your body allows you to pursue every meaningful goal you have. Nourish it with healthy food, regular movement, sufficient rest, and moments of recovery. A clear mind is easier to develop when your physical well-being is respected. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It allows you to serve others with greater energy and greater presence. Keep your relationships healthy by giving people your attention instead of only your time. Listen carefully when someone speaks. Express appreciation without waiting for a special occasion. Be honest even when honesty feels uncomfortable. Offer encouragement when someone is struggling. These simple actions strengthen trust and create relationships that remain valuable through every season of life. Continue making decisions that align with your values rather than temporary emotions. There will always be moments when choosing the easier path seems attractive. Ask yourself which decision your future self would respect. That question often provides greater clarity than asking what feels easiest right now. The choices you repeat eventually become your character, and your character shapes every important result you experience. Remember that your greatest competition has never been another person. Your greatest opportunity is becoming more thoughtful, more disciplined, more compassionate, and more capable than you were before. When your focus remains on personal growth, comparison loses its power. You celebrate the success of others without allowing it to distract you from your own purpose. A meaningful life is not measured only by what you achieve. It is also measured by what you contribute. Share your knowledge freely. Encourage people who are trying to improve themselves. Offer your experience to someone beginning a journey you have already traveled. Small acts of guidance and kindness often create lasting impact that cannot be measured by money or recognition. Your success becomes even more meaningful when it helps someone else move forward. There will still be difficult days. Even a life built on wisdom, discipline, and purpose will include uncertainty, disappointment, and unexpected change. The difference is that you will no longer see these moments as reasons to abandon your path. You will meet them with calm thinking, steady effort, and confidence earned through experience. You will know that challenges are temporary, while the character you continue building remains with you for life. Keep choosing growth. Keep choosing integrity. Keep choosing responsibility. Keep becoming the person your values call you to become. As the years pass, you will discover that your greatest achievement is not one award, one promotion, or one accomplishment. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you lived intentionally, remained faithful to your principles, and never stopped becoming a better version of yourself. That is the kind of success no circumstance can take away, and it is a success worth pursuing for the rest of your life.